Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, we had a pretty big move up yesterday in Treasuries. Overnight, they held pretty well, but here in the past, hour or so, we have started to retrace it, and I believe that we may go all the way down the single prints, which might leave us at 29.5. I should mark that X. We're in a spot though. Here they are right here on the open, and they're just pushing lower. So, pretty interesting. E-minis recovered a little bit too. So there's that. Let's grab the links. Okay. How come I don't have... Oh well. There's that one. And here's this one. Nope. Yes. Us. The way that they're trading through this, I think if I can get a short somewhere in here, maybe there, and just hold that there. Let's see. Charlie Munger says states are stupid for driving rich people away. Oh dear. This Amazon thing is really becoming a thing, and I did not expect. Not only did I not expect Amazon to pull out, but then the reaction. The market safe stocks might not be so safe anymore, Jim Cramer says. Where am I? In Twitter. Reading something here. That's not accurate. Okie dokie. Oh, cool. Super slow. Super slow. Oh, there we go. A good number of people in. Yep. Okay, so today we do have the import prices. I'm sitting here thinking it's pretty slow and maybe it's not going to do anything. But like we do have news at 6:30. It's not like super significant news, but it's there. And so I guess the market is going to kind of sit here and be really slow. My jigsaw on ZB is not correct. There was a buy in Bitcoin. Good grief. John is showing me all the snow at his place. It's pretty bad. It's like a 2 or 3 feet there. Euro USD is moving. 6J looks pointed down. Ooh, that 6J looks pointed really down. I really, just based on that correlation alone, I'm a little weary about. Yeah, and they flipped at the same time too. I'd be a little weary about buying. That's about 4 feet. Wow. Okay, so today, import prices month over month, we are looking for negative 0.1. The previous month was negative 1.0%. And again, we're looking for a negative 0.1%. Empire Manufacturing Index, we're looking at a 7.1. I have less than a minute here. They're trading down into it. That's funny. Right there into evens. January index negative 0.5% versus a negative 0.2%. And manufacturing actually a little bit better, 8.8 versus an expected 7.0. Moving us down. Think I could maybe buy into this, but it's still being slow. So I'm going to hold off. And it is there. Well, I don't know. So there's an iceberg there at zeros, but you would expect there to be one at zeros because there's always a lot of, resting prices at the even number. I think we're going to continue to see some down move. Well, geez. Sure. Okay. This sort of one never just like it goes off and just stays. I always think around with it a lot, don't they? Well, there's a lot there at 17 in the 5 years, so until we start seeing them eat into that 17, they could go back and forth here up quite a bit. And taking a short like right at the low is obviously not the most amazing spot, but that's just kind of where they put us at. I don't quite see us getting the 29, so I want to. Just a day before canceling its New York City headquarters plans, Amazon executives talked to state and union officials in a bid to salvage the deal, says Bloomberg Business. Ooh. Interesting. Import prices ex petroleum actual negative 0.7, expected negative 0.1. Interesting. The E-mini does seem to like that the manufacturing index is good though. Okay. 1500 traded into 31.5 now. The Eurozone Banks Index, the .SX7E, rises sharply up 2.3% after ECB's Koyuri says new TLTRO is possible. I have no clue what all of those acronyms are. What the Empire Fed number of employees fell to 4.1 versus 7.4. Work hours fell to 2.5 versus 6.8. So there's some bad information. There's some bad things in there. I don't know if the market really cares. Well, there's the E-mini. They did break a new high. And now they pulled back. And it's unclear that they're going to continue on. Hmm. There's a decent amount trading back into '09 there in the 30-year. The 10-year is actually kind of giving me slightly mixed signals now because the bid is actually stronger than the offer. Well, let me take that back. I think that this means that the bid is stronger than the offer, right? It's indicating that the level 2, that the overall level 2 is slightly bullish. Okay, level 2 flip there. The 5 years not exactly showing that it's going to go though. So are they trying to put the pressure on to see if they can get them to go in on it? I mean, that bid is looking weak now. The E-mini is pushing up. There's a lot there at 31. It's kind of thickened up as we're going down. All right. The bid is not as a little bit better. Is my data just messed up? I think that my data in the 10 years is messed up. Because where I'm seeing like my VWAP bands. I guess if it resets at the end of the day and okay, thank you Malwarebytes, but not right now. I appreciate all you do, but now is a bad time. Okay. Let's just see here because
block sell.
Okay, fine. I'm wrong. I saw that big order at 31 and I thought maybe they're going to stop here. I should be careful. But they sure just pushed it, you know? And I'm thinking this move down is a little bit too aggressive. So actually even now, even though there was 2 more ticks in that, I'm concerned about them flipping. Like this could be putting on extra pressure to get out. Okay, there's 29.5 as the single print. Yeah, I don't think I can consider that a mistake, but it sure feels bad that I didn't get it, doesn't it? Damn. I guess you got these currencies going. Makes this location a very difficult place to trade.
Block sell.
Jeez. Really? So why are the currencies moving so strongly the way that they are? That was a really big change in the spread, too. That was like a crazy flattener put on there. That's a crazy offer put at 29.5. Granted, there's a lot at 28.5 and 28 as well. And they are trading into 29.5. But that's still a lot. See that? I think I have to try it. I mean, I'm not saying that this is like that was like a high probability signal, but many times when I see like a strong offer following down, and if they trade above that strong offer, then the momentum really flips around. And I had an okay spot to get in line, so I thought, why not? It looks like they're not going to fill me though. It looks like they're gonna have a pretty um pretty steep pullback and just go without me. Trafigura cuts off oil trade with Venezuela. ECB's Kiori has never been a fan of hiking rates, so we can cut them later. Could be less strong than usual, but key level anyways, everybody's looking at it. So, well, yeah, they've got to be looking at it yesterday. Like, in the larger context, that move that we had down was a technical move. It's exactly the move that you expect to see. Retrace the single prints. The E-mini, though. The E-mini is like almost up to yesterday's highs. They're about 4 points away from yesterday's highs. So we got 20 into 29.5 that time. On again, off again, tariff war makes progress as talks end in China, says Mr. Topstep. I mean, the last piece of news that we got was bad, wasn't it? This is a lot of volume. Actually, it was about almost almost 30,000. No, 25,000. 25,000 contracts short to get it down here. Like, that really dumped. That's super curious. It looks like the train is leaving without us again, guys. This sucks. This sucks. I mean, are they going to retrace that whole thing? Well, I think I can leave that order at 29.5. And maybe we get just a slight pullback. So, like, we could get a pullback to 31.5 potentially. And it may turn back down around. And then it may or may not break a new low. But I have such a good spot at 29.5 that I might be able to get a fill. So we're going to keep an eye out for a short. Now, does that mean that the E-mini is just going to go for highs? This is kind of interesting because really they were pretty negative yesterday in equities, weren't they? That news, they pushed us down pretty good, and then there was bad trade war news, and I don't see anything that makes me think. I don't see anything that would like completely negate what happened yesterday. So like I don't see a piece of news. They're just negating it. Yeah, see, so they've ticked up. They're not eating into that. European banks jump, euro tumbles as ECB hints new TLTRO is possible. So what is the TLTRO? The last time they rumored it, euro plunged. Okay. I can see here. Yeah. 6E moving down with it. More strongly correlated Japanese yen though. For sure. Well, it looks like I'm going to go fill it at 31.5, so. But what is the TLTRO? The TLTRO, which merely allows existing debt to be rolled over. Targeted longer-term refinancing operations. Ooh. So it's kind of like a what do we call this thing again? Um it's kind of like an extension of quantitative easing, yeah? Hmm. Well, I'm happy with the way that it's behaving at my first entry. Probably didn't really want this second one. Not that much risk, at least. But there's a pretty big stack at 30. That is not in the spot where I would expect to see. Like, I would expect to see that at like 29 or 29 half, not 30. Then again, we've traded through a couple of big orders like that, so. Okay, that 30 half is kind of pulling pretty easily. Tick down, 1,000 pull, which is expected. See what happens if they start trading into it. Nope. A couple of little lots are selling 30 half. What if your news wasn't just written by robots but was fake? Admit Beach. I gotta admit, BS Fender is going to get more attention that I disagree with Julia on this point. Huh. Is that the guy from trading schools? Don't see. He doesn't have enough information on this thing for me to know. USD JPY tests 100-hour moving average swing high from Tuesday. So they had a pretty strong. Yes, this is an interesting thing in JPY. If you trade live, your broker will love you. Yeah, I'm not trading live today. Like, I think Fridays are pretty tricky. But yeah, I think that when I did trade live, that they appreciated it, and I do put in a lot of orders. I think overall it's still, for the year, I believe overall it's still quite positive, but I give up way too much. And I have a couple of, I have a lot of trades where I'm really not taking a very much of a profit on MI. Like this one, I'm ending up taking one on it. I have this one at this lot sitting in there at 29.5. So I don't know. I think, I'm always working on additional rules to filter things out. Trades that I'm taking that I shouldn't be. I don't necessarily see a problem with trading the 31. Now maybe you want to fill me, Maybe? No? I guess not. Come on, Tyler. Help me out this one time. Just get 200 more contracts to sell into it, and then you can take it wherever you want. Yeah, Alligator saw that tweet too about the 100-hour moving average swing high. Canadian existing home sales month over month, January 3.6% versus an expected negative 0.6%, the previous being negative 2.5. So, good existing home sales compared to what we were expecting. We were expecting a little bit negative, and it was actually a little bit positive. Ann Coulter is on a rampage this morning. She is super pissed. No, the goal of a national emergency is for Trump to scam the stupidest people in his base for 2 more years. I don't think so. I think that the point of a national emergency is that was literally the best he could do. It's really kind of sad when you think about it. Like, they had the greatest opportunity to get some border wall funding was really last year, and they didn't go for it. They said we'll wait, and then they waited and they didn't do it. And when they didn't do it, they didn't have, things were worse in Congress, essentially. So like it's already passed. So like they already, that was a huge tactical mistake right there. Like if they had done, like, just imagine if they had done the shutdown the previous year. I think they were afraid to do it because of the midterms. But if they had done it the previous year, they could have held on a lot longer. They maybe might have been easier to get the Democrats to cave on it. Maybe not. I mean, the difference in the Senate is very minute. Like, we have like 2 more guys in the Senate now. Man, so I'm having a really hard time getting filled on bids, aren't I? There might be scope for another LTRO, TLTRO, and in December, only a serious economic shock ECB said to consider new TLTRO. Anyways, I see this thing from Ann Coulter. I don't think that the Donald Trump supporters are going to go along with her. I don't think that they're going to see it the way that she does, and I think that they're going to largely abandon her because they've been watching this very closely, and I think that they believe that the president simply wasn't able to get it done. It wasn't because he didn't want to, or because the whole thing was a scam and he never really intended on getting it. It was just that really the situation in Congress is just so tight that it's just not possible to get. I don't think, like, say they did it a year ago, say they had all the leverage, and say that they stuck to it, like they kept the government shut down and they just stayed and waited. I don't think that the Democrats would ever give it up. I really don't. I really think the only way that you get a wall built is if Republicans have a 60% advantage in the Senate. It's the only way. Or an executive order, although I don't know if this particular executive order holds up in courts or not. Kind of think that, well, the thing legally here, I know I'm just yapping, but I'm just thinking like what I'm thinking, right? The thing is, I don't know what the law says about emergencies. What has to be true for it to be an emergency? Can the president just say that it's an emergency and it's his discretion? I don't think that there's a legal definition of an emergency. So that's why I'm not sure if it holds up in court or not, but so the level 2 might flip here and maybe we'll get filled, but like last time it flipped, we didn't get filled. So okay. Let's see, I can do this if this just happens to pull. Okay. Well, they didn't just fill us, it actually went offer. Nassim Taleb says, look up the story in Fooled by Randomness about the trader who thinks the market is more likely to go up, yet is very heavily short. Oh, I haven't read that book yet. That certainly happens, though, doesn't it? Here comes the Shanghai Accord 2.0. China unleashes gargantuan credit injection to start 2019. See, anytime that I see 7,000 on the bid, it's kind of interesting how consistent this has been over the years. But, like, for a long time, we weren't seeing a 7K bid. But even now that things are a little bit thicker and everything, when I see it stacked to 7K, it's not common that they just go through it. And when they do go through it, it's very likely to reverse. I mean, we definitely reversed here for at least to 31.5. So to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks back up, this is pretty good. That's like a rotation. I suppose that on overall, could still go lower. Like the trend may not be over. There's no way for me to know, or at least I don't have enough information to know. It's also curious that the stacking and pulling is still bearish, just like we were saying yesterday. We had a little move up. That's kind of a small move up, so I don't think that this is quite as unusual, but it is still bearish, which says to me that there hasn't been enough of a change or a reversal for it to be reflected here yet. Now they're asking Coulter if she's gonna donate the proceeds of her last book to charity. I want to know what it is though that she. Oh, here's something interesting. If you don't like Patreon as your funding platform, or you want another option, we added a donate function to the interface by OneHub app. Any creator can sign up in about a minute, don't need to be any expert, and don't need to accept calls. Okay, so they were not able to break. They didn't trade very much into 30, and now we're back up to 31. Quite easily there. And we've got a zipper around 31, so that's kind of like a false breakout zipper. I guess I should check that out, because I've been thinking that's Scott Adams. I'm wondering if... Looks like I have to like watch some videos and stuff to understand what the website is. Is Ace, you still short? Message retracted. It says he's short 27, 56, 25. You put the wrong number. I see. Well, this particular trade in the E-mini, if it really ends up coming back, going to be one of the more interesting moves. I mean, we've had a lot of really interesting moves this week, but it's like, the ES really fell apart yesterday, and now today we've retraced most of it. Maybe on the open they go for yesterday's highs, but they are kind of, shying away from the last pivot and making, a slightly lower pivot high. And the Treasuries are also showing some signs of a reversal. It's not been enough. Price action alone can't tell me that the momentum is over. But I'm certainly seeing it in level 2. And the overall bids, that there's more bids down here. More bids down here, and this 7K is holding, and they seem to be really afraid of it, and they're not trading into that at all. And anytime that I'm trying to get filled on the bid, it's super, super hard to get filled. So they may, it seems like an okay setup for it to really move down. Cover the trade, prepared to take profit with multi-lots. And that Japanese yen is turning around there. It's bouncing. We had a strong move down and now it's bouncing. So it might happen. And if it did happen, that could be enough momentum to shoot the treasuries back above the open, so back above 122 even. Italian 5-star lawmaker. No one in Italy wants an EU exit. Well, I doubt that no one in Italy. There you go. 15 minutes to go till the open, too. Curious. Right. It's still not really in a place that I can be sure. So, like, 35 traded down here at 31? You know? I don't know. I'm going to wait and see it come back. No, maybe not. Well, I don't think that those are happening. A few more bad releases, and the market is going to start to question the U.S. economy again, says Forex Live. Well, that's kind of an interesting thing for him to be saying, isn't it? GDP estimates will keep coming down, probably. I don't know if it's going to go into a recession, but I don't think we're going to have very much growth of this first half of the year. Shares of EA higher pre-market on reports it is in talks with Tencent to bring hit game Apex Legends to China. That would be interesting. Yeah, Ace God is 2 points. So that's all you taking on it. You don't know if it's going to go more? Oh, and actually, you got 2 points and it came back up. That's interesting. The thing is now that it's gone down there and touched that single print, and really, I'd really have to say that was a reversal. Did you feel the earthquake this morning? No, I didn't. But maybe I did and not just slept through it. But I don't know. How strong was it? I saw that briefly on the news. Maybe I should come in here. Let's pull up like KSL or whatever. What did it register? Two small earthquakes. Oh, 3.3 and 3.7, and they were in Bluffdale. So maybe that was too far away for me to feel. Versus, where you're at. I remember as a kid my mom saying all the time, that there was earthquakes, especially at night, and I just never noticed them. And part of it is that I lived next to, I wouldn't say like a huge road, but it was a road that at least had a middle lane. And there was trucks that would drive down that. And when trucks would drive down it, it would like rattle the sewers and everything in the house would kind of shake. And so like sometimes when you get an earthquake, it's just really subtle. It's just like, and then that's it. And to me, that's just like a car driving down the road, So I miss them. And I'm just not very observant. So I miss a lot of that. That sort of a subtle thing is exactly the sort of a thing that I would just like totally not see. It woke everyone up. House made a big sound. Glad civilization isn't over. So like my understanding is that a 3.8 is like you might not even realize it's an earthquake, right? It's not until you get up into like the 4s and 5s that like stuff starts falling over. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, I should keep an eye out because you can get like pre-shocks and aftershocks, right? Maybe the big one is coming. See, for those of you that aren't from Utah, we're like on a pretty big fault. And because the Salt Lake Valley is like an ancient lake bed, from Lake Bonneville drying up and becoming the Great Salt Lake, the ground is quite liquefied. So it was a small one. It was weird how much it shook us and how loud it was. Oh, that's interesting. So it was loud. Anyways, so if there was an earthquake in Utah along this fault line, it could be a pretty strong earthquake. Like it could be in the 6s and 7s, like those big earthquakes in LA back in the day, And yeah, all those new houses along the Jordan River will be toast in a big one. Exactly. The whole valley floor will liquefy, which will mean that it's not just going to be like the house kind of shakes around. It's going to be like the whole ground like flips up and just completely demolishes your house. So Utah is like overly prepared for this earthquake, but like this earthquake that would happen would be like one of the worst earthquakes. You ever seen one of my favorite stories from what is the book called? Reminiscences of a Stock Market Operator, was when the guy talked about he was on vacation and he just had a feeling that he should go short the market, and he goes short the market And turns out that that was when the San Francisco earthquake happened. And he made a killing off of being short going into the San Francisco earthquake. And I had never really heard about that before, so I went up and looked. Well, actually, let's look up the pictures. Yeah. Oh, come on. There's better pictures than that. Like this. It was just like they had like aerial pictures of it back then, even back then, and it was just like completely demolished everything. Just absolutely insane earthquake. I think that that's kind of the level of thing that would happen if we ever had an earthquake in Utah. So, for there to be an earthquake last night, big enough that people felt it, kind of gets people buzzing around here. As long as I day trade, I just need a laptop, a solar panel, and a satellite phone, I guess. If I was going to get in again, I would go long at 2750, 750. Really? See, I don't like that trade. To me, well, no, sorry, I take that back. I'm I think there's a really good chance that on the open that they're gonna try and push this yesterday's high. And then I don't know what happens. Like, is it gonna like exhaust itself and like immediately flip back down? Or do they get really bullish and just like really trend up? Or are they here on the open, they're just gonna sell it? I mean, there's a pretty long bull run going through this overnight session, bringing us to where we are, that could retrace. And the treasuries moving up kind of seem to indicate to me that that might happen. You know? At that point, they're very contradictory. But at the same time, the treasuries aren't up enough for it to be like crazy conclusive. You know, in fact, there, now that they had a little bit of a push up there, you can see that my evens is getting weak again. That Japanese yen came back up significantly. And now it's kind of in a range spot again. That goes offer. Is there some news? Fitch, Eurozone GDP growth now likely to slow down 1% this year. Maybe it was just a technical move. Well, there was a little bit of excitement going back and forth at evens, but I would say that treasuries have been relatively calm. Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this. Just, I don't really understand what's happening, and I'm really afraid of this coming all the way back. Look at it go, right? Well, you said 27.57. So now it's back to what I was saying. Like, so if it goes, is it going to flip on its head really quickly, or is it just going to keep going? I guess the amount that it went up through is strong. Ocasio-Cortez plans bill to block Trump's emergency declaration. Fitch says Eurozone GDP growth now likely to slow to 1% this year. I don't see what would cause that. That really looks like it would be a news move, but I don't see what's causing it. So now they are at the weekly highs. Well, they go bid there again. I don't know. I think I would rather be short. Still not seeing any kind of news that would explain that move. Electric truck startup Rivian announces $700 million investment round led by Amazon. I don't. Yeah. What caused that? That was really weird. Really crazy move. Maybe just technicals. Are the currencies going to come back down now? Are they going to flip back down and go lower? Treasuries just, I mean, the E-mini just had a tremendous move up ahead of the open. And the treasuries showed a little bit of selling, but overall, still where they were. And showing buying pressure. I guess my original buy trade would have been better, huh? Like people getting stopped out at 01. I don't know. The E-mini acting like that would be a good setup for the treasuries to push back down and make a new low, but it's clearly not the way it be. The way it be. Oh, look, this guy in Utah. His ceiling is cracked from the earthquake. There was a lot of damage, guys. That's so funny. I'd say that the E-mini is holding this new higher level pretty well. That was pretty strong look feeling move too. I don't know if it's going to take them to a new high in equities, but that's some strong buying all of a sudden. So you're getting kind of a flag there in the E-mini, like it's not that push up didn't make a new high. It doesn't necessarily have to, but because it didn't, there's maybe a risk that they come back a little bit now. I don't know. EU indices are not moving up. I don't know. It seems to be purely algo driven, but ES is standing high versus NQ. Hmm. Like bulls are still making good upticks in ES. But treasuries are not. Like, oh, 5 can go offer. Why are they having a hard time getting evens to go offer? The 5-year actually did sell through that too. That's interesting. Hmm. To put into context, ECB President Draghi said in December 2018 TLTROs were mentioned but not meaningfully discussed. Goes off again, but not a strong offer. I'm tempted to put another contract on there just because of the price, but my certainty about this is not high enough to justify me taking a second contract. And it's Friday. Fridays are always a little... I guess I could do, if it did this, then maybe I could do it. Look, I'm going to make a new high there. That is slowly creeping up to it. Little bit of a pullback. Could be. Forrest saying, to me it looks like it would be easy to push up through this 0.5, 02 area spot because of the low volume there. Maybe someone was aiming for it, not working so well, but they're still trying. Easier to push a ZF, but ZN doesn't want to follow as much. See, yeah, I'm kind of seeing like a similar thing. Like, I'm not seeing it like aggressively hitting into A1 per se. It's just like this one price doesn't want to give up. And when you look at the delta overall, they are selling more than they are buying here. They are selling more than they are buying here. In market orders, that is. It's slight. But by about 2,000 contracts or so, there's been more market sells than there has been market buys. So, and you're like right here, like right at the top of a profile. So, you know, the probability of it going through 02 and then on to like 03 is a little bit lower. Especially with the E-mini continuing to push up and make new highs. They didn't make a new high, but they came close. Look at the way it's trading up like that, like an ascending triangle. Like they're definitely going to make it. I think that one I think 27.69 was the high, so that's just equaling it. They haven't quite busted it, but they're gonna. I say it so certainly. Like, so certainly that somebody's just going to stop it from happening just to spite me. And Zero Hedge has a chart here. Rate hike expectations down, S&P 500 up. Are both right or are both wrong? I don't think that is a correct way of looking at it, Zero Hedge, because the expectations of a rate hike have decreased, certainly, because we are facing economic uncertainty. But that doesn't mean that stocks can't continue to go up, right? The free money is a good thing, is a good thing for markets. Like, it's a positive thing for markets. So we can see a situation where, we have very low GDP growth and like it's already priced in. You get what I'm saying? Brexit. UK Business Ministry says that if the UK leaves the EU without a deal, the government has taken the decision to provide continuity for goods imports for a temporary period after the 29th of March. Okay. Well, now the level 2 has flipped at least. I don't know if this 200 is going to go offer and fill me, or trigger my order, but it's doing the thing. They did break a new high. Just barely, but they did break a new high. This is a really bullish move in ES. I'm not sure I understand why this move is so bullish. Dow rises 250 points on trade hopes, heads for 8 straight weekly gain. Like, look at it go. Look at that. 2770. Like, really, when it was selling yesterday, it was pretty like, ugh. You know, it was ugly. It was ugly selling. Now, the buying is like outweighing the selling by, triple. The Treasuries not moving. I'm a little skeptical of this up move though, because when I look at the big orders, they've been all sells in this area. Trump set to declare national emergency at border and sign legislation to fund the government. Ginsburg attending private conference with justices, court says. Ooh, what does that mean? Yeah, Zero Hedges is complaining that we're up. Here's what his story says. Dismal data this morning from import-export prices to industrial production has sparked a comical buying panic. Comical buying panic. No, I don't think that's what's happening. Because really, the import-export prices were not that significantly different from what the expectations were. I didn't feel. And like the market did not react that strongly off of it either. It's just they went down to support levels and came back up into Treasuries. And then the E-mini broke some technical resistance. We think. Maybe there's a piece of news out there that we just don't have. But why this divergence between ES and NQ? So the E-mini is moving much higher than the NQ is. Don't know. What prompted that move up? I don't know. It's so weird. Trump gives a Rose Garden speech after vowing to declare national emergency. I don't know. If I was still long at evens, I would be getting a little frustrated right now. You know what I'm saying? And I would be worried that this is the one where like they really try to make it out to past a one, and they might even like step up and look really strong, and then immediately reverse on you, like make look a one half look weak and flip. Well, the Yemeni is flipping around. It's they look like maybe they're done. Like that sell is quite a bit stronger than the buys were. And the E-mini moves up. Anyways, like right now, if I was long, this would be the spot where like I'm getting like confident in it, and then it like turns around on me. But now at the same time, like I'm in the same situation with my short years. Like I'm sweating it like super crazy, and I'm thinking maybe I should just get out at the -3 and call it quits because it's not cooperating, and I don't really understand what's happening. Yes, you already said that. They're going to introduce a bill to stop the emergency declaration. Really, the whole thing is really kind of silly, isn't it? It's really getting kind of silly. Okay, so ES came back down there and they're hitting their support level now. Beto O'Rourke, when asked on Twitter, said if he would tear down the walls already in place, he says yes, and I think a referendum to do so would pass. Okay. Then that's going to be interesting to see how people discuss it. See, like that 1.5 is a little suspicious to me. 5-year did move up there. Yeah, decent amount traded at 0.5. See, it's holding that level pretty well. I don't know. Fed's Bostic does not comment on economy or monetary policy in prepared remarks. Hmm. Well, they continue to pull here a little bit at 0.5, but then it doesn't do anything. I guess we've waited in it long enough, and what happens happens. And after this, I'm gonna have to see something like really clear to make me want to take it, because so far today it looks like all I've done is give my broker money. I don't know. ES is still actually looks pretty strong. I do see the Japanese yen. Okay. Okay. I do see the Japanese yen kind of pointing down. Where can this go? 03? We should watch it really carefully here. I guess the question is, here in the 5-year, where would be the spot for it to stop? 19.5? No, we don't need these. If I see like in any kind of iceberg up here, I'm going to go short. Venezuelan Maduro. says his government has held secret talks with the Trump administration. Okay, we do have consumer sentiment coming up here, don't we? 95.5 versus 93.5 expected. So, consumer sentiment a little bit stronger than expected. Okay. Well, I didn't quite get prices that I wanted, but expected inflation expectations at 2.3% after 2.5% previously. So I guess we're getting this. What am I doing? The E-mini is coming down and the treasuries are coming up. I don't think this is in line with what I'm expecting to see. So it bids up 1,000 on the bid. It ticks back down, only 45 actually traded. $195. $100. Also, 20 was the open. 20 was the open. Michigan, February current conditions rises to 110 from 108.8, small bounce, but still at the lowest level since 2016. Consumers' long-term inflation expectations fell to the lowest level recorded in the past half century. Hey, Lucas. No, yeah, we haven't heard from Uzi today, have we? We're gonna get a flip here? Yeah. That one happened because they sold into it, though. And then it ticks up. Hmm. So they're doing a little bit of battle here at O2. Well, the seller has it now. Actually trying to pump it up, and ES breakup looks weird, still expecting retracement. And well, you could retrace this thing back to 2755 for sure. The absorption is bearish in the 10-year. Only one scratch trade today. That's okay though. I really need to review this week. It's going to be a busy weekend. Are you showing up on Mondays? So, I mean, we can if we want to, but I wasn't planning on. I mean, I'm not going to trade on Monday. There's no point in trading on Monday. But I usually tend to still wake up, and I will like work on programming stuff. So, if you guys are going to be around and you would like to watch and we can like program something together, then we can totally do that. But otherwise, I probably will just, chill and relax for a day. So that was a lot traded into O2 half, and now they're going weak on the offer again. Might be significant. There's a little bit of a spike in buying there, though. But nobody's selling into 0 half. That's the problem. I think it's giving me my zipper setup now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's actually almost past it. Rhythmic is good for data. I read it is not reliable. Well, I've never had it cut out on me, if that's what they mean by reliable. Now, what you will see in Rhythmic and what you will see in CQG will tend to be slightly different because um, there are so many changes that hit the exchange in terms of like level 2 and stuff. If Rhythmic were to send every single one of those to you as individual operations, it would just be way too much data. So they filter, and and my understanding is that sometimes filtering means that, you know, I will see 280 trade there, and you might see 283. So there are slight differences, but never anything that I've seen where it's mattered. But we have seen here in chat before where somebody was watching and they said, hey, you know what I see on my DOM is a little bit different. And then we say, what data do you have? And they would have CQG. Now, that said, the only reason that I use Rhythmic is because it allowed me to use like NinjaTrader 8 and Jigsaw at the same time before the bridge was created. So I don't think it really matters. And now it's kind of like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Is it like Jigsaw that Tino complains that it's too slow, but that it's okay? Yeah, I still don't understand what he's saying. Because, like, even when they showed me, like, here is a video, it looked the same to me. And I really think that part of it may just be, compression artifacts. Honestly. I don't know, man. Like, the E-mini come back to support, it still looks good. Like, I don't know. The way that it ticks up and everything just still kind of looks bullish to me. Hmm. What? Okay, so they just stuck a big honkin' order at O2. And now you can see the stacking and pulling is bullish. I think I saw an opportunity. Fucking really. This is suspicious. See, like this right here, I saw an opportunity, like, okay, it came up. Maybe now it's going to come back down. So I took 2, and I was waiting for an iceberg up here, but I never got it, and it was coming back on it. And now, really, I just ended up selling the low. We are coming into the reversal time period now. So the question in my head right now, aside from when is enough and I get out of this, is what should I be looking at that would keep me out of this kind of a trade? Well, one thing is that the spreads are like really skiwampus. The knob spread really moved down and the FYT really moved up. That's weird. This time is going to be another big red 10-minute candle on the chart, this time red, that I will look while wondering why I didn't take advantage of the move. Yeah. I think we just have to admit that we don't understand why the market is behaving the way that it is. Because in my head, in my mind, they should have reversed already. This is really slow. There doesn't seem to be like strong interest in buying. It feels like it's been manipulated to be pushed up, frankly. And the E-mini still looks bullish. Unprecedented divergence between income and inflation expectations. Sure. U.S. Chamber of Commerce urges Trump not to declare an emergency. Why would they care? Well, they've been pro-immigration for a long time, but this is kind of silly that they would get involved in that, in my mind. ZB is almost at high. Oh, that's wrong. It didn't remember. It didn't set my volume profile correctly for some reason. If I restarted Jigsaw, it would probably fix it. But see, there's an iceberg at 03. It's been weak this whole time. That's probably where I should be going short from. And even then, I might just would maybe get blown out anyways. You know? Did you learn programming in college or did you go to a big company? I learned from university. I mean, I programmed on my calculator a little bit before that, but I learned to program mainly at university. Yeah. So the thing is that it's not really that difficult, in my opinion, to learn how to code. Like, especially if you want to make like NinjaTrader indicators, basic indicators, it's not hard to go into the code that's there and see, take something that's close to what you want and then just read the NinjaTrader API and, figure out what you need to change to make it do what you want it to do, right? Well, the place where the university education starts to come in is when you start to get into like complicated data structures and things like that. Like what is a linked list and how do you iterate through it? That's why if you go for an interview, that is often the kind of question that those companies will ask is, about the linked lists and that sort of a thing, because the algorithmic side of things gets complicated, and that's hard. That's super hard to teach in an online course, but for most of the stuff that people do nowadays, you don't need that stuff, I think I kind of have trouble at my job with people because they never had to deal with those sorts of things, and they probably should be. And then they make mistakes, and we're like, well, why didn't you go through the complexity of this thing? Why didn't you test it to see what the performance was, and that sort of a thing? And I swore at somebody the other day and I got trouble for it at work. It was kind of dumb, but shouldn't have done it. I didn't swear at them. I just swore in the conference and they were offended. They said, "Oh, yeah, but you're not using this tool." And I'm like, "Yeah, but they're the same fucking thing. They do the same fucking thing." And they were offended that I did that. China to maintain dignity basic interest in talks. Okay, that's the headline. China will strive for best results in trade talks. Xinhua. That's the state. That's the state news, I think. Yeah. Okay, so now that the O3 is stacking up quite a bit. So it was kind of like what I was saying. It did seem like that a little bit too much traded into O3, and then now they're trying to turn it around. And that was maybe more of the trade that I was looking for. But it's not like an incredibly strong signal. The E-mini does still look strong, and they did make a push up, but it's still a little bit hazy about which way it's going to go. And even if the E-mini does go up and make a new high, that's not necessarily mean that the 10-year is going to come down. There's no way China is going to give in on some of those key issues, says Rick J. Newman on the U.S.-China trade negotiations. The whole plan is not a great plan. Well, that's not encouraging. Look. They're eyeing that high. So O2 is where we saw the stack. So if O2 goes weak, or sorry, if O2 goes offer, you might have something. Look at the 5-year is still pushing lows of the day in cumulative delta. There's lots of selling in the 5-year, but it moved up. Not only did it move up, but it moved up more than the 10-year, causing the FYT spread to move up. Okay, so O2 did not go off, or they ticked back up to the O2 half. But maybe that stack that happened at O2 was not just like a trick. E-mini still holding these levels. This is super weird, guys. And look at the big bid at 27.69 that has shown up after ticking up there. And look at the way when they tick up, they take a couple of prices at a time and they get buying rushes. You know? Okay, well, 20 did go offer. I think that was a new high. Quite a bit traded there at the top. It might pop up again. Mix the data today in a bunch of chop. That's not how I see it. One has a decently strong offer. How is this going to play? Okay. The 30 and the 5 are both doing it. The 10 has been the skeptical one. Well, now they're kind of at a slight support zone. Or a balance zone, let's say. Let's call it a balance zone here around 17 and 3/4 in the 5-year. Democrat leaders are discussing options on how to stop Trump's national emergency. I don't know about this, guys. On one hand, there is an argument to be made on the national emergency that it's not constitutional or that it's illegal. But on the other hand, is it really a good look to see Democrats fighting so hard legally to prevent them from building a wall? You know what I mean? I don't know how that argument actually ends up turning out in the mind of the general populace. Now that makes sense to me, could sync with other markets. Yeah, someone's gonna have to explain to me what's going on here in Treasuries, because this whole thing is just not. When I got cocky about it 3 months ago, that was when the market started the biggest drop from a high day. Don't want to do it again. Okay, so I got it out of that thing. That could have been super bad. And if I can take it from here. Well, it's 8:30, so as badly as I want to still go short on this, I think that those two bad ones were probably yeah. Got to do the right thing. Don't want to stay in a trade after 8:30, and the chances are that now I'm getting my short, and maybe it goes through, but it's not going to do it for an hour. That tends to be the tendency, and I always get screwed over when I'm trading between 8:30 and 9. So this trade right here at zeros, obviously a bad trade, but one contract, it's okay. Just really frustrating, and not frustrating so much because it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, but frustrated because even after the move is done, I just don't understand why the market is doing what it is. I don't understand why the E-mini is on a tear up, and I don't understand why the Treasuries are pushing up so strongly. And I don't understand why the Treasuries moved down so strongly at the beginning of the session. And I guess that's the last thing, is that I had a bid at 29.5, and they never gave it to me, and I'm really pissed about it. So, what you gonna do? Nothing. So yeah, if you guys have something that you think we should program, some sort of an indicator or statistic that you would like to see, I would be more than willing to help you guys program it on stream on Monday, but I'm not going to trade on Monday. So I'm just going to play it by ear. If you see something, put it here, put it in the Discord, and then, we'll do it on Monday. Otherwise, on Monday I should have at least my weekly news thing. I wonder if I'm going to do that on... I think I still need to record that Sunday night, so I think I will still record it on Sunday night. And maybe I'll put that out on Tuesday morning instead of Monday morning, I guess. And what else? There was something else. So yeah, I may or may not stream on Monday, but if I don't, probably I won't, because there's no reason to trade, and I don't think anybody's going to be around. But if I don't see you then I'll see you on Tuesday. And, or, if you want to play Apex Legends, you can add Speculator Seth on Origin, and we can play that. Unusual in the sense that members of Congress are usually quite patriarchal, and also the deal was popular locally. I don't know what Nate Silver's talking about. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have read that. I shouldn't have read a tweet from Nate Bronze without knowing what he was talking about. Okay, so I'm going to post the cryptocurrency notes on Patreon. And by the way, if you haven't been checking the Patreon, it would be a great thing to check out. I kind of had an interesting move there in cryptocurrencies, didn't we? Because we had a little bit of a move up, and then they shoved it back down. I wonder. So that's going to make this weekend in cryptocurrencies a little interesting. And the indicator says like that they're overbought. So we'll see. But I'm going to go and generate those charts and post that. If you guys have questions, you put it in now. I will answer it before I go. And yep, I will talk to you in a bit. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just seeing something here from Zero Hedge. Fed's balance sheet to shrink by a whopping 43.5 billion today. While stocks continue on the surge at the back of the daily China trade talk optimism, it's worth remembering that as early as December, the market was driven by something far more tangible, the ongoing shrinking of the Fed's balance sheet, despite the Fed's verbal assurances that its balance sheet is no longer on autopilot. Quantitative taper continues unabated for now, and most importantly, as per the Nomura schedule below, more imminent unwind events are expected. I see. Okay, well, it looks like they did actually push lower, so I think that short was okay. But, in an awful spot for me to be taking something. So, yeah. How you guys doing? Got any extra questions? Oh, I see Rung saying thank you. I thank you for showing up every day. Well, I appreciate having you in here. And of course, everybody else that comes in and participates. And of course, everybody else that comes in but doesn't participate but likes to listen. I really appreciate it. And I think we have a really great community going, guys. I'm a little disappointed that today wasn't a good day, but it was not a complete disaster. And, I did have something there. Could have taken that. I was thinking about getting short O2, right? So could have gotten 2 or 3 out of it. But, this time frame, this is exactly what happens in this time frame, and this is exactly why I don't like to trade it. So, yeah. Anyways, I was just going to say, because I was looking through my notes, and I'm going to post this in the Bitcoin channel here too, but it seems to me, I didn't see that somebody was posting links to other Discords here. I need to get rid of that. Yes, so the finite idea pointing out in the Bitcoin channel that I think we'll get some decent action in Bitcoin next week. I'm seeing a bunch of things that kind of indicate to me that we might be that they might be setting up for something because of the way that the altcoins are pumping up and everything. Like the next short might be in. So we'll see on Monday, Tuesday. And in the meantime, hold on. Oh, I'm back. What did I miss? You missed nothing. I don't know if you saw that before, but I had a short that got stopped out, and then I decided to double down on that trade after it went up a little bit more, and it still went against me. And then when it came back to break even, I said I don't know what I'm doing, and I need to stay out, and it's a bad time frame, so I stayed out. I wanted to go short, and it would have worked out, but I didn't. So, typical Friday. Fridays suck, But anyways, I will catch you guys on Tuesday. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends. Please. So I want to see you lose all that money. This is minus 62 is bad. I mean, it's not bad, but Anyways, later.